The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. You did that on purpose. You knew I was turning it back up.
Well, I mean, because I could also...
Just watching me turn the knob just in time.
I wasn't watching you. I heard a little bit of I could hear the volume turn up. So I mean,
because you could hear the fan from my CPU.
Yeah. So.
Well, hey, Boomer. A miniature pincher just joined us. Okay, Boomer. Yeah, I'm talking about you. What are you doing? I didn't bring your bed down here because you guys are too noisy.
Well, also, like even if you do bring the bed down here, it's not like they're gonna sit on it. They usually like come and give us the attention. So.
Yep, that's what they usually do. They're just like jumping all over our legs and be like, "Hey,
podcast with puppies.
Oh, you're doing a podcast? Hey, this is a perfect time to jump on your lap."
Do you want to?
So you were talking about when you decided to go to school.
Yeah.
We can start there.
Okay. So for those that have like listened to the podcast and know Jacob and myself, he's got like that.
He's skinny, man.
Yeah.
He's got the skin.
Sorry, my attention's like all over the place. But yeah, like Jacob and I had worked together for Vivint for like 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
And yeah, when I was hired and when like I went to Vivint, like moved to Texas to work with you, yeah, we were just talking about like how I don't think my life would be where it is at now if I didn't go with you, because a lot of the decisions that I had made that factor into where I am at now, at the time, that's like where my head was at, like when we were living there. So when we were living in Texas, I like had that personal revelation of like, it's time to start going to school.
Yeah.
Granted, like, yes, you don't necessarily need a degree for a lot of the jobs that are out there now, but still, like, just having that piece of paper that says that you did something can open so many doors. It was like, why shouldn't I guess. But yeah, and it's interesting because like even like it's like since then a lot of like the decisions have altered and changed. For example, when I started going to school, I was thinking that I was going to be going into teaching English. And then eventually took the teaching classes and was like, wow, I really freaking hate preparing lessons for an hour and a half for 5 days a week. No. And then eventually I was like, well, crap, I don't know what to do. Got my job at the boarding school where I discovered how much I like working with teenagers specifically and like helping that age group set goals and like kind of figure out what they want out of life. And I was like, maybe I could go into like academic counseling or career counseling. So eventually changed my major to psychology and human services. And then just recently added on criminal justice as a minor. So just in case I wanted to do something with that. In all honesty, I added criminal justice on there because it was the minor that sounded the most exciting to me, and because I needed to add more courses in order to be full time so I can get financial aid. But, yeah, so
that's exciting. It really is. So I tried to. I really struggled. I tried to go back to school, but I did it through community college and ended up dropping most of the classes and then not passing math because I didn't do the midterm or the final exam.
Math is such BS. Like, okay, so when I switched my major to psychology, I was like, Well, like that was also the same semester that I was finishing up math.
Mm-hmm.
So once I finished that course, I was like, okay, awesome. I am done with math. I don't need to do math anymore. Changed my major to psychology. Psychology is a science. Science requires math. And I was like, oh, shit, I have to do math again.
Damn it, more math.
And we had to, it was psychology statistics, which doesn't really mean shit. They just put the word psychology in front of it because statistics is required for a major in psychology, because you do studies, you study a lot of data and doing graphs, which means you have to study statistics.
Interesting. I never really would have thought that you had to know a lot about statistics and graphing and charts.
Yeah, we have to do a lot of and depending on what field you go into, a lot of jobs that require psychology, for like the job that I'm currently in, like a lot of what we do is data collection.
Yeah.
So like it's behavior analysis, and analysis requires graphs for psychological behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's interesting. I've often thought about going back to school.
You still can if you
That's a
want
lie.
to.
I honestly don't want to go back to school.
Then don't.
But every once in a while I've thought about, well, if I could go back and do something, what would I like focus on?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I still kind of go back to like when I was growing up, I wanted to be a film director. I was thinking about maybe going to cinematography or something like that, and going to a film school. And I was like, that would be kind of fun. And then my other thing was like, oh yeah, that's right. Conservative the Recording Arts is out in Arizona.
Mm.
Not too far off where we used to live. And so I was thinking that would be kind of cool, because then I could go into audio production. I could work on mixing and mastering audio files for movies, or help produce albums for artists and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that would be kind of cool too. And then my last thing, I was like, yeah, I could also just do writing.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a lot easier.
Have you ever gotten like some feedback that you really, really didn't like, but like ended up being super helpful for you in the end?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a story, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell mine and then I want you to tell yours.
Okay.
So, my choir director in high school, I did choir all throughout high school. But anyways, so my choir director, I really hated it when he gave me this feedback, but like to this day, I'm so grateful for it and really glad that he gave it to me. Like when I was in high school, part of what I was wanting to do was like go into working in music studios and going to like helping producing music for artists and like managing artists and like helping them write music and all that. Like that's what I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And when I was talking to my choir director about it, he was a really supportive person, which is why this feedback that he gave me is so meaningful now.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, do not do that. Don't go into producing music. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, why is this? Because at the time, like, I was like, this guy is just telling me to not pursue my dreams. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the kind of mindset that I was having at the time. And then he explained it all to me, and he was like, home studios are becoming such a huge thing. By the time that you get to the age where you're going to be doing that, there's not going to be much use for it, because people are just going to be producing music in their own homes.
Yep.
And I was like, the majority of 90% of my brain was like, F you, dude. Like, you really just told me not to go for my dreams. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be my mentor here.
Right.
But like now that I look back at it, I'm just like, no, he was right. Like, yeah, there are still like producers and like managers out there, but most artists just produce their own music and do stuff in their home, and it all sounds great.
Yeah.
So yes, like that job position is still out there, and there's still managers.
Yeah, there's
producers.
still need for managers and producers.
Right. But the majority of those producers are doing like the huge name stuff. So it's like, and I guess like for a lot of people at home are just going to be like, oh, not with that attitude. You got to pursue your dreams. Do it. Don't listen to what they tell. No, listen. I don't think like I have that like enough drive to like do that. I
be
think
up at all hours of the night and
yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff is a lot of work. You know, that's why I think where I'm at right now, I really like the idea of doing long form discussions such as podcasts. But I really do want to get my book published. Mm-hmm. I've already talked to a few people about it, and they're like, well, how long is it? I'm like, oh, it's about 500 pages. And they're like, okay, well, how many words is that? And I was like, I think at that time it was like around 160,000 words, somewhere in that ballpark. And they're like, dude, that's a pretty hefty book. You probably need to chop that back.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wow.
What's also really crazy and like really awesome to me is the fact that you already have an editor. So
yeah, I got somebody that's really excited to work on it. I haven't had the brain space to really work on it lately. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that'll change soon.
Yeah.
Because I really do, because basically right now it's at the point where it's like just fine tuning. And I'm just trying to figure out making sure that some of the sequences that I put in there make sense, because by the time I got to the writing it to the end, I was like, okay, these sequences don't make sense anymore. I need to change those. So I'm just basically reading it to enjoy it right now, and then just kind of marking where those place settings are, and then input the information I've already written, basically. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to send it to family, friends, and to our editor. So
yeah, I know someone who I grew up with back in California, who now has like he has a book now and is selling it.
Parler.
He's the same age as me. Like
yeah,
and it's a fantasy series. I don't remember what it's called, but like it was so impressive to me that he was able to do that. And I'm like, and I guess he's making it like a 3-part. It's gonna be a trilogy.
Nice.
I think only the first one is out, and he's already got the titles for the second one, or for the second and third ones. So, but yeah, like it was just so crazy to me, and it was like dude's already got his book published when he's 22 years old. Mm-hmm. That is so awesome to me. So granted, like if you look back at like The Outsiders, if you've ever read read that book. Okay. So The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. This is an author who she wrote the book when she was 17.
Oh, wow.
And it started as like an English paper when she was in high school, when she was like 15 or 16. Mm-hmm. And then had The Outsiders published by the time that she was 17 or 18, I think.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, just started writing a bunch of different books in that universe.
Oh, that's fun.
Kind of like a John Green kind of esque. I guess they're not all in the same universe, but like everything took place back in the 1950s, 60s, back in the greaser era. Mm-hmm. And when hippies were starting to get more involved and becoming more of a thing. But yeah, crazy good writer. Really talented. So
that's awesome. I find it very impressive when I meet, like, I don't want to say children, but the younger generation, like the coming up adults, and seeing people who have that drive to start a project, especially that big. I mean, you know, sitting down and writing a 300-page book, you know, it's around, what is that, 80,000 words, 90,000 words, somewhere around there?
I really have no idea.
Somewhere around there.
I feel like it would be more than that, but...
Well, I guess it would also depend on the spacing and the font. But
yeah.
Typing double spaced, I mean, with a regular font, you know, it's somewhere around 100,000 words.
Yeah.
Will give you about 300 pages printed. That's what I understand. That's what the internet's told me. So there is that. But yeah, I find it really impressive. Like seeing these young adults like start like their own businesses, and like flourishing, and you're just like, oh, wait, how old is this person? Oh yeah, they're 26. They're making $5.4 million a year, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, I mean, like,
how about that kid, that 16-year-old kid that started a sneaker .com, and now he's a multi-millionaire.
Think about like if you want to go way back and like get more classic rock-esque, Motley Crue, when they were like 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like Mick Mars was much older. He was like in his 20s.
Much older.
Well, he was.
So you think I'm ancient?
You are ancient. Let's be real. No, just kidding. No, I think no. So I think like some of them were still in high school. I think Vince was like 17, 18 when he joined, and like by the time they were all like in their very early 20s, like 21, 22, they were already millionaires. They were making so much money. Like they were spending it. They were spending it faster than they were earning it. And it was like,
yeah, we'll spend it on drugs, like girls, and like trashing everywhere they went, starting fights wherever they played.
Did you ever watch the
Dirt?
The Dirt.
Yeah, okay. That was really good.
So I have the book, The Dirt.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, the book makes the Netflix movie look like a Disney movie.
Really? Oh, so they like no bars at all. They just kind of let it all out.
Yeah. And it's really cool though. It's really cool because every chapter takes place from the perspective of each different member.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So like, I think the first chapter is Vince. No, the first chapter is either Vince or Nikki, but like the very first chapter explains like the entire first scene.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
that's fun.
But like if you read that book, I have a copy of it if you want to borrow it. It's insane. And like by the time you shut the last page, it's like, how are these fools still alive? Mm-hmm. How are none of them in jail? Like it's insane.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
I also like, it's easy to appreciate that movie. The director of that movie is also the same guy that made the Jackass movies. So, which explains a lot.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So I have two stories
about
people who have given me great advice, and it's changed my life very drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was younger, my parents got divorced. I think I was like around somewhere between 8 and 10 years old. I don't remember. And it really crushed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really struggled with the whole dynamic. But I'm really grateful for, obviously my mom and parents, my parents doing the best that they could. My mom just working her butt off, making sure that, we had what we needed. And, but as I got older, I was still like kind of holding on to things, and it was still like affecting my life.
Right.
And so growing up with therapists, from that time in my life, it seemed natural, when I was struggling, in and out of jobs, unable to have, cohesive and, really deep relationships with people. Like it was just like all surface stuff, and I was just really struggling. And so I went back. I went on an antidepressant, went on an ADD drug. I think it was Adderall. And I only did that for like 2 or 3 months, just because I forgot like how it literally does change the chemistry in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like it. Because for one, it really takes away your creativity. Like it robs you. It robs you of your creativity. It gives you more drive. It gives you more focus. But the creative process is very weak. Like it very much weakens that. So I didn't ever feel like myself. The other side effect that some people have on it is it increases aggression and anger. And that's one of the things I really did not like about it. And so, but anyways, I got off of that, got onto more natural stuff like supplements and exercising more like I need
Yeah.
to do now. And my doctor, when we were going through our sessions, we sat down, one of our normal sessions, and she's like, yeah, you definitely seem like you're feeling better about, things. How are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing okay. And she was like, well, like, is something going on right now? I'm like, well, I just kind of feel like I can't control anything, And it was really interesting. She turned to me, she's like, Jacob, when you decide that you want to take control of your life and live it and just do it, like, you're going to be just fine. And I was like, wait, I can take control of my life? Like, because up to that point, I've just kind of like rode this roller coaster of just feeling like everything's happening, just kind of happening. Like, I don't really have a direction. Didn't realize I could take a direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like, I'm trying to stay in a job. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. And so it hit me really hard. For somebody to say, dude, you're in control of your life. Like, whatever happens is because of your decisions. And I'm just like, whoa. So that was a really big deal for me. That helped me out a lot.
I think I remember having I think you gave me that feedback too when we were working at Vivint, when you were training me. I think I remember it very specifically because there was the time when you were teaching me a specific way to wire up a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember. I made some kind of comment of being like, oh man, this is something that I can't control. And then you were talking oh no, as we're wiring up a camera, you're just
Mm-hmm.
oh no, there's a lot of things that you can control in your life. You're actually in control of everything in your life if you think about it. And it was just one of those things that stuck with me for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but
No, I do not remember that. But that's cool that I shared that with you.
yeah, it was one of the I think it was the first week. We were on a job together, and you were showing me how to wire up stuff, and you were training me. So, anyways, what's your second story?
So my second story was actually when we were out working. I think it was maybe the second or third year I was with Jacob, actually.
Okay. Do you remember where you guys were?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, continue with the story and let me
I
know
don't
if it comes back.
where. I don't remember where.
I'm sure it'll come back as you tell
It
the
might have
story.
been the year before you. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways. So, I can be passive aggressive because that's kind of like my default. And so when I'm teaching people and trying to get people to do things, sometimes I don't do it the most direct. Like you're saying, you got your
sure.
You're passive and aggressive and you want to be assertive. And I wasn't being assertive. I was just kind of beating around the bush about stuff. And Jacob, he was so funny. I never forget this because I could tell he was you could tell he was frustrated. He's like, Jacob, damn it, just tell me what you need me to do. And I was like, whoa, what do you mean? He's just like, dude, you're being passive aggressive. Just tell me what you need to do or what I need to do, and I'll do it. And I was like, oh, so you're saying I'm not being direct enough? He's like, yeah, you're not being direct.
Just be blunt.
just tell me what you need to do. If I did something wrong, tell me I did something wrong, And I was just like, wow, I never really thought of that.
Yeah.
And that's something, it's kind of stuck with me, and it's been really good, especially, in relationships with people. So if I see something that I don't like, I'm like, dude, I really don't like that.
Yeah. So it's crazy though too, because it's for me, some of my most deepest and most meaningful relationships that I have are with people that will give things to me straight and be blunt. Because it's not they're not passive in their communication. They're not aggressive in their communication. They're direct. They're blunt, but in a respectful way.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that you can tell that they're being more respectful is because if they didn't want to help you improve, they wouldn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what Jacob was saying to you.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't want himself to improve, and if he didn't want to help you, then he wouldn't have been that blunt and honest with you.
Yeah.
So I appreciate when people are trying to tell me something and they're very blunt and just direct with it. But you can still be blunt and direct in a respectful and loving way.
And be considerate of people's feelings.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also at the same time, the only reason that you can be offended is if you choose to be.
Well, and that's true, and also not necessarily true, because you can be offended. Like they say, sticks and stones, but like that is some bullshit. Like words can hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, obviously not physically, because you start talking sticks and stones, you're just like, oh, that's, you're hurting me physically.
No, but like it's still that feeling in your gut that you don't like,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think it's important, and that's something that's I think been really good about Rianne and my relationship is that we have a space where we can be upfront and honest. And sometimes, the things that we say are scary, and sometimes the things that we say, can feel like, well, this is, this hurts my feelings when you say stuff like this. But it's good that we have a space when we sit down and we talk, and we be like, okay, we need to be, like, the biggest thing is, okay, we need to be open and honest right now. And then we sit down and we just kind of lay it all out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're filtered, where it's not completely blunt and direct, but it still gets the point across. And sometimes it's very, blunt and direct.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just kind of one of those things. And I think what's really good when you're communicating with people like that is you ask follow-up questions.
I think that's actually,
I think it's really good.
I think it's really healthy too.
Mm-hmm.
Is like just laying everything out on the table,
mm-hmm.
like all your thoughts and feelings, but in a safe space where like you can come back from it, or I guess not come back from it, but like work through it.
Yeah. But that's always what I think discussions are, is working through the thing that you're talking about.
You have a point A getting to a point B.
Yeah.
So
it's not just you suck.
It's like you're actually practicing.
Right. It's like, well, why do I suck? Did I suck doing it this, or did I not do that? Or
right. You're practicing your constructivity, I think is the word.
Constructivity?
Constructive communication.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know if that was a word or not, but if it is, that's the word of the day.
I literally just made it up and was like, it sounds
you just
like
made that up on the spot. That's pretty baller.
Sounds
dude.
like it would make sense. I don't know.
I like it. I really do. I like it. Yeah. It's really interesting. Like you can like look at different points in your life and be like, wow, that was a really big turnaround for me. Oh, that was really impactful.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Still, I think one of the biggest things for me was like that, like our time at Vivint, that first summer where I made a lot of the decisions that I had decided to make. Goddamn. Like with
dude, I'm actually tearing up a little bit.
Oh.
It's just looking back at that time of our lives and like how hard I worked to like have like a real team, like kind of like I don't know if I'd call it a brotherhood.
I would,
but yeah,
dude, we literally had barbecues together every Sunday off, or not like barbecues, but like we did
of some sort.
We practiced team building, like we spent our days off together.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna take a nap, I'm gonna spend this day recharging. No, we like the days that we spent recharging were together. Yeah. Like,
well, we did sleep in though.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that was like the only time that we really got to sleep in, unless we knew the sales teams weren't going out until much later, and that we weren't going to have jobs scheduled the next day,
or like, service tickets, or what fires to put out.
Like for the most part, we got up like pretty much every single day, early, like fairly early in the morning. I think I was getting up at 7 a.m. on average on a lot of mornings.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we spent our time off together. There were nights where like after work we would like get together and just talk or hang out.
Go get food.
Yeah.
Drink a beer.
Like in the team that we had was also the kind of team where it was like, we have another person that's out right now. We're not, the rest of us are not going home.
Yeah.
So it was like, if you're
so
not,
we'd all like all of us show up at one house, and so we'll just
and we
be
got like
outside
6
chatting,
no, it would
2
be
3
like
techs inside. The rest of us are outside hanging out.
And it was great for us because like that was like a good time to be on, like to be at work and on the job and like thoroughly enjoying it, because we were on it working together.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we were troubleshooting, it was like all of us were just waiting together.
Yeah.
So the amount of times I've said together is the amount of times that you guys have to take a shot.
Shot.
But no, it was. But yeah, I mean, like my last Sunday that I had spent with you guys in Washington D.C., we spent it at like Washington.
Yeah,
Monument.
the Capitol. Yeah, the monument.
Mm-hmm. We spent it just
Saw
walking around
the
and vibing.
Pearl Harbor monument, which was really interesting.
Oh,
was it Pearl
yeah.
Harbor?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? That big long
across
corridor and like had like all the stone carvings on the sides.
Across from like we wanted to go to the big Abraham Lincoln statue, and we couldn't because there was a huge event going on that we just couldn't get past.
Yeah.
So we just stayed on, and like on the opposite side of that whole river is the river fountain.
So the tower or the obelisk monument, right? Then across from that is where we went to the Pearl Harbor one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really did try hard to make sure that everybody was having a good enough time where they didn't hate it.
You made sure
like that was honestly like my goal. I just didn't want people to hate working.
I think
like, you know,
a lot of like your leadership had to do with building people's confidence, which is like one of the huge things that I look for in every leader that I follow, which is what like I think I've been like extremely lucky. Like the majority of the jobs that I've worked under leaders that have been very inspiring and like family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working at the boarding school, like my bosses were great, and like I really took a lot of wisdom from them. The place that I work with now, like the leadership that we have in all their positions, they're there for a good reason. So yeah. I mean, and you were one of those leaders that I was like, I feel like he's just trying to build my confidence, and it worked. So
hey, you could do it. Just stick your drill bit there and push.
I can drill this person's wall.
Yeah, just put it in there. Oh my God, Jacob.
We still got like 10, 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, we got 15 minutes. That's cool. My reminder that I need to start getting ready to hit the sack. Because I got to get
bedtime
up early.
Alarm.
Yeah, I get up. I mean, I've been struggling to get up in the morning because we stay up later than we really need to.
Same.
And so when I need to get up at 5:30, I ended up getting up at like 6:15, 6:30. So, yeah, I mean, it's not something that I have to like rush to, but I really do need to like get up and get into the breakfast rush.
Yeah.
For DoorDash and Uber Eats, because I don't want to do it at night.
Yeah, I have like a very similar schedule where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up at this time. And if I want to get up at this time and have like my full 8 hours of sleep, this is the time that I need to go to bed. Yeah. So like I'll have, what I've started doing is I'll have that window of like, okay, now is the time to start putting away your phone, throw on some music or a podcast, and start going to bed.
Yeah.
That has not happened a single night this night. And like like last week I did pretty good with it. This week it's like every single night I've been in bed way later than I should be.
Yeah. Waking
up the next morning being like, ugh.
Yeah.
And
should have gone to bed earlier. Yep. That's a vicious cycle.
And like honestly, I probably should do that tonight. Am I going to? Probably not. I don't think
podcast nights because it's so like auditory, visual, like the stimulation, like of like really deep and like meaningful conversations with people actually like it gets my mind all wound up, and so I'm like still thinking about stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about this, and this is really interesting, and oh, that branches over to this thing, and pretty soon you're down like your own personal rabbit hole, and you're just like, what time is it?
Yeah.
And you're like 4 episodes in. It's now 11:30 at night. You're just like, God damn it, I need to go to bed.
It's like the other night. So like what I was telling you last week. Like I've started watching Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
And like it's one of those shows. It is one of those shows where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep watching and hope that like every episode gets better. Like I feel like this is one of those shows where like it actually does get better.
Yeah.
So
it does.
Like for the last couple of nights, I've just been letting the TV run while I'm in the kitchen making dinner, and just kind of watching it as I'm doing my thing. And I'm like, eventually I got to the point where I was just sitting down on my couch and I was just watching, and I'm like, wow, I'm dedicated to this now. And I finished the first season. I finished the first season Tuesday or Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm in the second season.
Yeah.
Or just now starting the second season. So I'm like, okay, this is actually a pretty good show. I'm going to keep watching.
Yeah.
Because this is cool as hell. So
yeah, the characters are really interesting.
Yeah.
Like the people that are the actors in them are very fun.
Freaking
like really good.
Ryan Hurst, the guy that plays Opie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was already a huge fan of him before, because I know him from like Bates Motel, Walking Dead, a couple of other shows.
Oh yeah, Walking Dead.
Yeah. And then I saw him, like seeing him in Sons of Anarchy. Now I'm like, this guy, how is he not in like everything? Like,
yeah, he's
him
quite
as
the
an
character.
Actor. He's such
quite the character.
Such a cool actor. I really like watching him at work.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's
weird to see him with short hair, but I mean,
yeah.
Anyways,
no, it was a really good series. I was sad to see it go when they closed it up, but
yeah. Was it one of those shows that like actually like had a finale and like ended?
Yeah, it ends. It ends for sure.
Why do I get the feeling that by the end of the series, like half of that gang is going to be dead?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
That's
a great prediction. It'll be really interested to see what you think as the time goes on.
How many seasons is it? Is it like
I think it's like 4 or 5, something like that.
It's more than that. I'm gonna look really quick. But anyways,
maybe it is. I don't think it reached to 9 or 10. I think it ended before that.
I love shows that can go into like the double digits in their seasons. Like Walking Dead is on season 10 now. So 7 seasons.
Oh, okay.
7 seasons of Sons of Anarchy.
I was wrong. I think I was wrong because I think they were going to get canceled and then they got re-upped. So like, well, it can be good. Damn it, Jacob. You had one job. That was not to tip over all the drinks. That wasn't anything in that, was there?
No, there's nothing in this. It's empty.
Ips. So there's some shows that it's really bad for it to go that long, i.e. Grey's Anatomy. It's like there was a good portion or section of the seasons where it felt like they were replaying the same scenarios every season, just with different people.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why like my favorite shows, Avatar. Like they have one goal, but like every season is different in its own awesome way.
Yeah.
So
solid. Like I really think some of these shows should be like a limited run. You know? Like they should just do like a 10 episode thing and just call it done.
Like in like an event series.
Yeah.
So the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that's coming out like that, it's going to be that. It's just going to be, I think it's just going to be one season, like one event. And
I like that.
Which I am so excited for. I'm so excited for it to come out. So.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor.
Where am I at in Mandalorian?
I don't know. You tell me. What was the last thing you saw?
What was the last thing that I saw?
Have you at least finished the first season?
Yes. I think I started the second season. Last thing I remember was the job where they went to save.
You're getting an important
Am I really?
Yes.
Well, she'll have to wait a few more minutes.
Okay.
But I'll call her back. Let me just text her, sir.
You should be referring to your wife as ma'am, not sir.
I was talking about you. You're in your bodial functions.
Have you
What
seen?
was I saying? So,
Anyways.
oh yeah. So the last thing I remember watching is that he went back and got Cara Dune. He went back and got Krill, and they had the big shootout.
So it sounds like you either finished season 1 or are about to finish season 1.
And then Bill Burr was in one of the episodes. They went to that spaceship to save that girl's brother or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
They had the big
Bill
bearded
Burr.
guy from Sons of Anarchy, and I was just like, hey, it's that guy. What's his name? I can't remember.
Are you talking about Opie?
Is it Opie?
Opie was the big beard.
Big beard,
I don't
long
know.
hair.
It's been so long since I've watched Mandalorian. I don't know if
He was, yeah. But that was the episode with Bill Burr, which actually he did an okay job for a comedian. I don't know if he's acted in too many other things.
I was gonna say, have you seen like
good.
have you seen like his stand up?
Oh, yeah,
He's
his
so
stand-up
funny.
Is legendary. Like, I think he is probably one of my favorites because like he brings in like real life stuff, but brings it in raw.
Yeah,
And he's not afraid to give his opinions.
he's really not.
He just reminds me. He just reminds me of just this angry. Like, I mean, he's not really that. He's not really that angry. It's a character that he really, they over exaggerate their characters that they create.
Mm-hmm.
Because like all the podcasts and stuff I've heard him on, he's such a cool dude. With his stories.
Bill Burr, yeah.
I'm
trying to look for the guy that was in Sons of Anarchy and in the Mandalorian episode, and I'm not. Oh yeah, are you talking about Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Boone Jr.
Mm.
Yeah, Ranzar Malk is his name. Was the character's name?
Yeah. Yeah, he was in there. I was just like, hey, it's this guy.
Yeah.
That guy. That's honestly like one of my I think the favorite things that Rhiannon and I do while we're watching TV series or movies is that when we go to the next, like a new series or whatever, we find characters or excuse me, actors from previous series or episodes or films and stuff like that, and we go, oh hey, that's that one person from this one thing, and then we'll like jump on IMDb, that one, IMDb, and be like, what is this person from this one? Hey, look, it's that person. Like,
yeah, it's like you click on their name in IMDb, and then like you go to their works and you see all the stuff they're in. They're like, oh, they were in this movie.
Yeah.
Like I learned recently that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the guy that voiced Jim in Treasure Planet, the main character.
Treasure Planet.
It was like an early 2000s Disney movie that.
It sounds familiar. I might have watched it. I don't remember.
Yeah, just space pirates and stuff.
Space pirates are fun.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Space pirates. Well, I don't know if I'd consider Serenity space pirates, but it might as well be. But anyway,
it was basically just like a treasure island, but in space. So.
Oh. That actually sounds kind of fun. I'll have to watch that.
And they literally just replaced the title with Treasure Planet instead of Treasure Island. So
they're going to do another one. It's going to be Treasure River.
Sounds like that one river rafting movie that I don't remember. Kevin Bacon's in it. Someone will know what it's called.
Good old Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh, we really need to look at our Apple Plus stuff. We haven't really looked at it. Just because we always default what's on our TV. Like, we don't immediately go to an iPad or a phone.
There is so much stuff
on
Apple TV Plus, dude.
I know. We need to go on it.
You guys need to start watching Servant. You need to start watching Defending Jacob.
Yeah.
You need to get back on For All Mankind.
Yeah, we really do. I really want to watch For All Mankind. That looks
The last episode,
really good. And the first 2 episodes we watched, phenomenal.
The last 2, it's one of those political kind of shows.
Yeah,
but like it's cool to watch. It's an interesting and engaging type of political, because it's space and it's NASA.
Yeah, so like how politics have affected different organizations like NASA in this case.
Yeah. But like I remember just like the last like the finale of season 1 was so intense.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my, like, did you, I don't remember if we ever talked about this, but did you and Rianne ever watch Gravity with Sarah Bullock?
Yes.
It's crazy.
I mean, it was good.
But it's like, so think about like, you know, how that there are all these different survival movies that take place in like the desert or like in a snowy mountain or whatever, like Everest. And like this was a movie that was like a survivor's movie, like in space.
Yeah.
Like an astronaut trying to make their way back to planet Earth. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was like the finale just reminded me of that, just because the intensity of like floating off into space, like one of those kind of unknowns. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Out into the nothingness.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. That's something I honestly, like, I think me being in one of those suits would probably, I don't know if that would be great for me.
I really would love to like try on an astronaut suit. Like I would really love to try one on and just kind of like see what it's like to wear one. I'm sure there's a museum where you can do that, where you can try one on, but like,
oh, imagine how many people have been in it.
Yeah, that's true. I also want to try like like one of those anti-gravity kind of things where like you just go in and float for a second.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be really fun to do that high. But
I think I would like to do the one where you go up in an airplane and then they slowly descend so that you have the feeling of anti-gravity. Yeah. I don't want to do the ones where it's the big wind turbine. That seems
where it's
really
like
small,
like the little cylinder. Tubes almost. Yeah, like this skydiving kind of.
Yeah, indoor skydiving basically. That. And of course there's a weight limit, so I'm just like, can't do it anyways. But yeah. What was it? I was gonna talk about something.
Well, we should probably start wrapping up anyway.
Oh, so I did start another Netflix series.
Yeah?
Because I like my Netflix. Second Life. It has the girl in it that played Starbuck on Battlestar Galactica, the series that was in 2000 and... When
Early 2000s?
Yeah. No, I think it was late 2000s.
Okay.
I can't remember when it started, but it's an interesting series.
I'll have to check that out.
But it has her in it, and so far it's really interesting. I like it. They're in space.
I'll have to check it out. There's a lot of see, whenever I start a show, I usually just focus on that one show. So for me right now, it's Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, we bounce around a lot.
So it's like, because I know if like I have to focus on that one, and it's just like, okay, I'll finish this and then I'll start getting into this one. So I'm like, unless I get really bored of Sons of Anarchy, which I don't really see myself doing, I really want to.
No,
I really want to finish it.
I dedicated for that one. I really did. Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch Breaking Bad?
I couldn't get past the first season. It just the whole premise for me just seemed really silly.
Well, I think if you gave it a chance, it becomes more than just like a chemistry teacher getting into making crystal meth.
I think it was the finale of the first season. It was like, I can either choose to teach or I can choose to make meth. I'm gonna make meth. And I was just like, what? So
it's been so long since I've seen it, but like, if you
everybody's talked to me about it, said it's really good, but I've not been able to get. Although I do love Bryan Cranston, like he's
an amazing,
phenomenal actor. So maybe I should give it another chance.
I would say like Bryan Cranston is also one of those actors who doesn't just do jobs for a paycheck. He actually wants to like do good stories.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like honestly, like if you can get past the first season and like things really pick up after the second season. So
yeah.
like it is one of those shows where I had to like keep watching to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of those shows. It was one of those shows for me, but
some of those shows end up being like some of your favorites. Like,
yeah,
I didn't really get into Outlander until like after the 3rd season. I was just like,
really?
okay, I really love this.
I still need to get back into Outlander. Like it's been sitting there, and I'm like, okay, the first season is like clear in my head. I remember everything that happened, or most of what happened anyway. Like I need to get back into the 2nd season. But then Sons of Anarchy happened, and yeah. So
that's why we bounce around. Like, yeah, like right now we're also watching some of these old like late 2000s sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
So Rian's been watching My Girlfriends, which is silly,
yeah,
but it's kind of fun. But another one we were watching is called My Wife and Kids.
Yeah,
and that stuff is hilarious.
I think my favorite sitcom right now, or like today, is still How I Met Your Mother. Like,
that is a really good sitcom.
Like it's a big debate to be like, oh, what do you like more, Friends or How I Met Your Mother? And for me, it's How I Met Your Mother.
Mm-hmm.
I like, and also How I Met Your Mother is also the show that I binged the most when we were living in Texas.
Oh, really?
That first year.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when I got into it. I was like, the only thing I had on my Switch was Hulu, and I hooked that up to the TV, and I was like, this is a pretty awesome show. So I have a lot of memories from Texas to associate with. It's like, oh yeah, I remember watching this episode before I got a text for this job.
Kids, your mother and I, with Bob Saget doing the voiceovers.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Goldbergs.
Well,
that's a good series. I'm sad that it went.
I think we should probably start wrapping up. I'm gonna be honest. I really gotta pee, and I gotta get going pretty soon.
Yeah,
anyway.
and I'm sure my wife wants me to call her back.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's on her way from Bunko. But hey, we do appreciate you guys watching one of these wonderful pre-records from wherever you are. If you haven't already, if we haven't earned it, hopefully we have. Go ahead and give us a subscription and a follow on whatever you're watching. All of the links are in the description down below. Hit that bell so you get notifications when we go live. We're trying to do that every Thursday, 7 p.m. MST, 8 CST. And as always, we will see you in the next one. And I'm not going to drop this again. And I'm going to walk really slow so I don't accidentally hit it.
And we're actually gonna end the episode.